This is a podcast of 98FM's Dublin Talks. Remember, catch the show live Monday to Friday at 10 a.m.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
98FM.
Yesterday in court, when handing down a fine of €400 for speeding at 150 kilometres in a 100-kilometre zone, the judge asked McGregor what he earned before saying, "Don't say 110 million." His answer, it was actually 140 million, actually, which he earned in just one night for his boxing mega fight against Floyd Mayweather. He then sped away from court with no seatbelt on, saying, "Come and get me, come and get me," to a scrum of photographers who quizzed him about allegations he punched an associate of a cartel mobster in a bar last weekend. Now, his behaviour has been quite bizarre over the last few days. He posted a photo of just one of his eyes with his face covered up with the caption, "The Celebrity," which appeared to reference the stories of a well-known sports celeb being involved in a pub brawl. He then shared a photo of his BMW arriving to court saying, "Getting charged in the supercharge." Hashtag courthouse, hashtag relax judge. Before one of his solicitors saying, "Thanks for dragging me out of bed, but F it, we look fresh." Before his final post, with his hood up, covering his face, getting out of his car outside court, saying, "Respect to Martin, they hassled the ball out of him as well, ha ha." Which seems to be a reference to former criminal Martin the General Cahill, who also featured with many photographs with his hood up. Now, this all comes just weeks after the 29-year-old was caught on video using the word faggot when talking about a UFC fighter after a match. He's since apologised for that. So after all of that, we want to know if your opinion on this guy has changed in recent weeks and months. He's been a role model for kids in Dublin and Ireland for many years, and nobody is debating or going to debate his sporting achievements. But has he gone too far now? Do you allow your children to watch or support him? Would you allow them to follow him on social media given his recent posts? Are we, or is he entitled to do what he wants and behave how he wants no matter how famous he is? I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Let me go to Cormac. You're on 98FM. How are you, Cormac?
Not too bad, Adrian. How are you?
Good, thank you, Cormac. What did you want to say?
Basically, my opinion since the get-go, when everybody started talking about McGregor, is he's an absolute twat. All he's doing is he's just giving Ireland a terrible name, and he's running around flashing his cash, and he's getting away whatever he wants, like.
And that includes like double parking his car outside the courthouse, turning up to court in a tracksuit, which a lot of judges have a bit of an issue with. I remember debating that on this show before. But do you think that he thinks he's above himself, like he's lost the run of himself, has he? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's an average Joe Soap, given loads and loads of money to do something that he has a certain talent to do. And like many of us, like yourself, Adrian, you have a talent in radio presentation, and you do that well, and you do that with finesse. This is just everything he does is rough. I don't know. I think, especially with a €400 speeding fine or double parking or showing up in a tracksuit or something like that, I think he's just, in general, he just thinks that he's above everyone else. He's got the money to do whatever he wants. And in my opinion, it shouldn't be a €400 speeding fine or anything like that. It should equate to the amount of money that he's making. Because
believe it or not, in other countries, they actually do give out fines in court in proportion to your income. So yeah. I've heard of fines in court in other countries of like 20, 30, 40,000 euro. And you think that would have been more appropriate than a £400 fine?
Oh, absolutely. If he was hit with a €40,000 bill in one day for speeding, I don't think he's going to go back the next month to go and do it.
But she drove away from court at high speed, so I don't know if he paid it much heed. Okay, so you think it's time to stop idolising this guy?
Absolutely, and it's all kind of people my age, Adrian. Loads of my friends are all like, "Oh, he's putting Ireland on the map," and "Oh, I wish I'd go over to Vegas to watch the match and everything." I couldn't give a rat's.
Is that not true, though? Has he not put Ireland on the map?
oh, he's put Ireland on the map, but not in the same way that, I don't know, the likes of Michael Collins would have put Ireland on the map. You know, it's not a historical thing. It's not a positive thing. He's given Ireland the name of people that run around shouting and screaming, talking a load of shite to anybody that they can. And then whenever they, I don't know, turn around and get beaten or something like that, then it's a whole, oh yeah, I'll do it again. It just wasn't on my game kind of thing.
Okay, so you obviously were never a fan, but even less so after recent events. Absolutely.
I mean, the last week, all I've done is talk nothing but smack about him. I'm going to be honest.
All right, stay there for a second, Cormac. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Do you agree with Cormac? It's time to stop idolising this guy. He is not a role model of any sort for anybody, least of all for children. Call me right now on 6797 981. Jay, you're on 98FM. How are you, Jay?
How are you doing, Adrian?
Jay, it is time to...
Hang on.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, Adrian, before we start, I'd just like to pull Cormac up on something he just said there. I couldn't believe he said it. He said Steve Collins would be better at putting Ireland on the map than Conor McGregor. Steve Collins, the wife beater?
Yes,
is he for real?
Yeah, no, that's true. So let's move away from that.
Is he for real?
Okay, but if we were talking in sporting terms. But hang on for 1 second. The fact of the matter is, Jay, this guy's reputation, especially in the last few months, just leaves nothing to be desired. He's not somebody to look up to,
come on, the bloke, he's a young man, right? He's recently come into a lot of money. He's enjoying himself. You know what I mean? He goes to a pub. I don't know what happened.
No, nobody knows. There's no point in speculating on it.
There was a bit of a row in the pub. How many of us haven't had a row in the pub at some time? We don't end up in the newspapers over it.
I know, but when you're that high profile, should you not behave yourself a bit better?
But you don't know what happened. How can you behave yourself? You don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. No, I wasn't there.
You can't comment on it at all. None of us can. We weren't there.
Okay, but what about...
Someone might have started on him. He could have been defending himself. Who knows?
What about his swagger and his demeanour walking into court yesterday?
That's what got him where he is. That's all show. He's a showman. That's what got him where he is.
Well, there you are, Cormac. He's a showman. Get over it, basically. That's his gig.
Well, okay, I'd just like to say, I haven't a clue who Steve Collins is, first of all.
No, you did a few minutes ago, didn't you?
No, I said Michael Collins, yeah. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to, portray any misunderstanding there. But I said Michael Collins, I don't know who Steve Collins is. And yeah, all right, I appreciate the whole showmanship thing. Everyone does it. Any celebrity that is in any way in the limelight, in the public eye, they're always putting on a show. They might not be pretending to be who they really are. They might just be trying to get attention. That's fair enough. Yeah. But he's a champion UFC fighter. Yeah. And yeah, you can go to the pub, and yeah, you can... Somebody might have started on him or said the wrong thing to him, but it's his responsibility then to reserve himself.
Okay, Jay, what about his... Okay, most of us, if we get summoned to appear in court, we'll go to court. Okay?
Yeah. Well, actually, hang on a second. Now, if you look back at a lot of famous people, they're sentenced in their absence, a lot of people.
Okay, well, the judge wasn't
having... An awful lot of people now.
The judge wasn't having any of that yesterday.
Exactly, the judge wasn't having it, and he went to court. What's the problem? He done what he had to do.
But, like, parking the car outside, just dumping it there, leaving the doors open, swaggering into court...
He was allowed to do it. No one stopped him doing it. Those people outside could have stopped them, they didn't.
Yeah, and
they didn't have a problem with it.
Whatever's happening.
They didn't have a problem with it. Why would anyone else? They're the ones that are in charge of outside the court space. They didn't have a problem. What's the big deal? He parked outside. So what?
So what, Cormac?
You know what I mean? It's not like he was parked on double yellows blocking an ambulance or something. You know what I mean? He was parked his car outside the court. Big deal.
It was illegally parked.
It wasn't illegally parked. There was no yellow line. Anyway. There was nothing there. What you heard, I seen it. I was watching the TV with the cameras now running after him. It was not illegally parked. It might not have been the best parking in the world, but it wasn't illegally parked.
So you believe that this is all part of his showmanship?
Of course it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's social media. You know what I mean? That's all part of the showmanship.
I don't think kicking the head off a few young lads in a pub is any part of
Slow it down there now.
Exactly, slow it down there, Cormac. We don't know what happened in the pub, and we're not going to speculate as to what happened in the pub. We know that there was some incident in a pub, but we're not going to speculate as to what actually happened. Amy, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Amy?
Hey.
Good, Amy. I'm going to talk to you straight after the break. But you think people like Cormac are jealous?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I agree with the second caller there. I think he said right. Like, at the end of the day, we all go out and get drunk and park our car where we shouldn't. Like, Cormac just makes himself out to be a little angel there. But the only difference between McGregor and the rest of us in Ireland is that he's made a name for himself and now he's on social media and whatever. I think, like, I personally love him. So.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. She personally loves him. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. Amy, you still love him?
I do, yeah.
And what is it about McGregor that you still love, even though he's been swaggering around town the last week or two, including
like,
at the court
first
yesterday?
Of all, I don't understand what that texting, like, what is a typical Dublin scumbag? Like, what is that?
Well, that person believes it's Conor McGregor.
Well, like, I guarantee you that person that sent that text message came from probably a great upbringing and had loads of money and got everything he wanted growing up, whereas McGregor had nothing when he was growing up. And what was wrong? Like, all he did was trying really hard and get himself to where he is today. If I was him, I'd have the confidence the same as well. Like, he's
what do you say to a message that said, I went to see his movie and had nothing but respect for him, but the last few weeks have been very disappointing?
I do understand where people are coming from saying things like that, but they also have to realise everybody in their life at some stage has a wild few years or a wild couple of months or whatever, and unfortunately his is just in the spotlight. Now,
Cormac, that's a fair point. We all go through phases in our lives where we have a wild few days or a wild few weeks. He just happens to be in the public spotlight.
That's perfectly understandable. And I mean, he's allowed to go out and do what he wants. He's worked very hard and he's gotten very, very far from where he began, and I respect that. But somebody that's so high up, and it's not anyone's fault. I'm not blaming him on this. But he's so high up, and there's so many people looking up to him. And like, even only last week on my street there was a little girl that got punched in the face and had blood running out of her nose and over her mouth and everything like this, because this young lad, and they all play together every day, they're playing UFC, and he pretended to be Conor McGregor or something like this. And there's the drama all week between these two parents up my street because they're so, I don't know, they're watching it, they think it's fine, and yeah, you can say it's the parents' fault, and you can say that it's the kids' fault, the parents aren't watching the kids, and these things happen. It does happen, but there's definitely a way that he could, tone it down even a tiny bit, or she could just turn around and go, look, I might act the way that I do, but I'm a trained professional. There's no need to be going around pretending to be me or causing any hassle because you like who I am. I think somebody that's so famous and that's so respected widely all over Ireland, that he should have a little bit more respect for himself and think about what he's doing and the cause and effects that he might have on the population's children and on the adults as well, because it's not just the young people.
Can I just say, right, so
yeah,
even the situation with that you just said about the two kids, that's like saying, like, fair enough what Conor did in the pub and punched someone, whatever, but his job is to punch people, like, his job is to hit people, whatever else. That's like saying if a kid, like, if you're watching a soap and somebody gets shot on a soap and then a kid finds a gun and shoots someone, he also seen that on the telly, do you know what I mean? So you can't exactly say that because a child seen something on the telly and did it, that's Conor McGregor's fault. That's his job at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's very true. It is. But what he's doing isn't on the telly. It's not drama. It's not made up. It's not fake blood. What he's doing is perfectly. It's real, it's physical, and it takes a lot of training and a lot of work to be able to handle that sort of stuff.
Okay, what about this message, Amy? And it says, acting the hard man, it's embarrassing. He's carrying on like all the hard men on the streets of Dublin.
But, like, I know this is going to sound really stupid, but, like, he is a hard man. He's not acting something that he isn't. He is a hard man. And at the end of the day, he's also a very, like, as much as he goes off and shows off and everything, he's also very good. Like, you also see on his social media what he does for his family and his sisters and everyone. Like, he's still a really genuine fella. Just because he's off acting the hard man, he can afford to act the hard man. Like, he's not going around...
Because he is a hard man.
Yeah, like, it's not like he's going around mouthing out of him and pretending to be something he's not. He's just using his own personality. And I don't think because he's in the spotlight, people should judge him for that.
what are the benefits of acting the hard man?
But that's what I mean. He's not acting anything. He's just being himself. Fair enough.
But what about what happens to respect for yourself? You know, like, you can act the hard man all you want, but there's no respect there either. He couldn't give a shit what he says or does.
But that's his personality. Unfortunately, everybody hasn't got the same personality.
And I accept all that. That's his personality, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, a lot of people idolise him, and a lot of people look up to him, and a lot of people think he's a hero. It's not a great example to be setting, is it?
I personally, fair enough, I'm not saying that I look up to the way he's carrying on at the moment, but I do love the way he does what he wants without caring what other people think, because I think the world is just full of people who care too much what other people think.
Okay, here's a message I just got in. I'm a huge McGregor fan when he fights, and still will be, but I would never let my son see his personal life stuff. I would let him see all the training and hard work he has done, though. In other words, he protects his child from some of the stuff that we're seeing online and on the news and everything else. Libby, you're on 98FM. Hi, Libby.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Good, thank you, Libby. What did you want to say?
No, I just wanted to kind of reiterate what Cormac is saying, in that I think that he was in court yesterday. He should have been there, and I feel that showing up to court in a tracksuit is just a huge lack of respect for the institution, if nothing else. And I feel at the moment, like, I would have been like sitting on the fence, I guess. Like, my son is 7, when the song came out and there was a big hype about his fight in August, and it was all a big deal, and I kind of got sucked up and I thought it was brilliant. And just lately, I just feel like, I saw him on the Late Late a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't that impressive. I've seen him do better interviews than that. And then just the last few weeks, again, not going to comment on what happened in the pub, no idea. But just what he's coming across as being, and then yesterday when his lawyer was like, I don't know where he is, and then all of a sudden he shows up in his flash car.
The judge demanded he be there.
But his lawyer didn't know where he was, and then there was rumours he was in Tenerife. Like, no, it just came across as being really, like, just disrespectful for the court, if nothing else. I mean, it's facts, honest to God.
Amy, just with regard to, you know, even turning up in court in a tracksuit, loads of judges have a huge problem with that.
Yeah, and I understand that. Like, I'm only in my early pension myself, so I do understand that. But like, if he didn't care the way everyone was saying, he wouldn't have went to court. He would have said, like, you know, F it, I'm not going. But he did go.
Well, he would.
No, Amy, he only went because the judge demanded. Because the judge demanded she was going to issue an arrest warrant.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he went.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Everyone is saying that he doesn't care and blah, blah. If he didn't care, he would have just said, I'm not going. And even if he did get arrested, he would have been like nobody's like, he would have been like, oh, still, who cares, like.
All right, stay there for a second. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Where am I going now? Sharon, you're on 98FM. Hiya, Sharon.
Hey, Adrian, how are you?
Good, thank you, Sharon. What did you want to say on this?
Basically, we're really, really big fans of Conor. I think his homeboy done good. He done really well. A lot of the bullshit he said is on it's out there for entertainment. But in the last couple of weeks, now my son is 14, he's a really, really big fan of his. We would have seen his movie as well. In the last couple of weeks, his behaviour has become really, really erratic, you know. But I see that as separate to his behaviour in the ring. Sitting in a car, parking his car outside. I've been outside that courthouse for a speeding fine. I couldn't just abandon my car and walk in. You have to have respect for people. He seems to, the last couple of weeks, his whole behaviour has completely changed. His attitude has completely changed. I question why. What's going on in his life that's happening?
And let's not speculate, but
no.
When you see like the behaviour swaggering into court yesterday, and there's no other word to put on it, that's what it was.
And screaming to the media, come and get me, come and get me. You know what I mean? That's not sending a great message to young kids. And he's got a little boy himself. He needs to remember that. He's got a little boy himself. Whatever he says in the ring or in the build-up, the run-up to a fight, that's great entertainment. But when we made him. The public made him. You know what I mean? We made him. So he needs to show a little bit more respect for the people who look up to him, for the young kids who look up to him. He needs to remember that. He's always, he may be a millionaire now, but there's a price to pay for that.
That's what I was about to say. You believe that with his fame and fortune, and you know the fact that he is seen as a role model by many, that comes with certain responsibilities.
Absolutely. What he says in the ring is great crack. That's entertainment. We expect that. But in the public arena, when he's out there, like yesterday, that was his private life going to court. But he's on camera. Kids are looking at. My son was looking at that on the news. My son really looked up to him. My son thinks he's a fucking idiot now.
I mind the language, but
sorry.
No, I know you're only quoting him. But so you wouldn't let your kids watch him anymore?
No.
Or if you ever did you ever?
In fact, my son follows him on Facebook. My son follows him on Instagram. He's unfollowed him. He just thinks he's... I'm going to quote my son. He called him a tool. For the behaviour leaving his car...
And how old is your child?
He's 14, he's in second year in school. Good kid.
And he just thinks he's a tool now?
He just thinks he's a tool now. He abandoned his car outside a courthouse, saying, come and get me, come and get me. He's behaving like an idiot.
All right, stay there for 1 second, because Sandra, you think what we're hearing here is just typical Irish begrudgers?
Yeah, we are. Every one of us. I'm not, because I don't begrudge a man thing that he has. He's worked for it. And at the end of the day, he had a speeding fine, and then your man saying he should get 30 or 40,000 fine. So what, do you go by a percentage of your wage?
Well, in other countries they do, Sandra. There are many countries. In fact, it's something we only debated on this show a couple of months ago. A €400 fine to somebody who earned 140 million a couple of weeks ago is nothing. A €400 fine to your average Joe in Ireland is an awful lot. So, do you know what I mean?
It's only proven that we are a nation of begrudgers. Because it's Conor McGregor, everybody wants a piece from him now. He's done good and he's earned his money. He's not a scumbag, and anybody who's saying he's a scumbag is the ones that's a bit probably from the country saying the typical Dublin scumbag.
Well, no, Sharon, you're not from the country, are you?
No, I'm from Coleman myself, love. I'm from his hometown, and let me tell you something, we're all proud of him. We're all proud of the way he made his money, and we all think he's great. Absolutely. All I'm saying is his behaviour in the last couple of weeks in the public arena, it's been a bit fucking OT, sorry, pardon the language, a bit OTT. He's going a little bit overboard. He abandoned his car outside the courthouse. Come on, like.
He's putting the show on that we pay for. We all pay Sky. And
no, he's not, but he's not in a boxing match. He's outside a courthouse.
It doesn't matter. It's only because it's Conor McGregor. If it was anybody else, it wouldn't have been reported.
But sorry, I have to say to you, if it were anybody else, Sandra, we probably wouldn't have just dumped our cars outside a court like that.
And we'd have been done for it.
It wouldn't have been on the news either.
No, it wouldn't have been on the news, but we wouldn't have done it either.
No, with more respect.
Well, come here, Anthony, he's a nothing but begrudgers. That's all it is.
Okay, Sharon, what about that? You're just a begrudger.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think fair play to him. I've nothing but respect for what he's done in up to a couple of weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? But his behaviour, he had no respect for what he done yesterday.
No one would have been in the papers about him this week only for he went into a pub. He had a fight with somebody. End of. He earned his money.
I'm not even speculating on that. Yeah. I'm talking about what
she's talking about his behaviour yesterday specifically, Sandra, and she thinks it was completely inappropriate.
Because he parked his car there. How do we know? We've seen that on the news. How do we know that wasn't drove up before he came out?
No, he drove up, he hopped out of the car and he walked into the court.
We looked at the video footage of it.
Yeah, he is our just begrudging him. That's all.
Absolutely not.
You're sitting on the bandwagon with everybody else.
No, absolutely not. I think he's done great for what he's done. All I'm saying is, there are little kids that look
Sorry, Sandra, listen to what this lady is saying. She appreciates what he's done. She's respect for him for what he's done. But to behave like that and swagging into court yesterday as if it was a complete inconvenience in his day is not the way to treat a court.
But there's loads of people who swagger into court, but that was reported on yesterday.
What about the little kids that look up to him? Do you think they'll have any respect for the law when they see that?
Don't tell them what's going on. They shouldn't be watching the news if they're small anyway.
Come here, my kids watch the news every day.
Fair play to them. Mine watch Nickelodeon.
All right, stay there for a second. Hang on. 6797 981 is our telephone number. We've touched on the raw nerve with this as well today. You can text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. For those of you texting us and WhatsApping, get me on. We'll get you on as quickly as we can. The best way to get on is to call us on 6797 981. We always give priority to people who call in. So call 6797 981. Where am I going next? I am going to Andy. You're on 98 FM. Hi, Andy.
How are you?
Good, thanks, Andy. What did you want to say?
You had a little man.
Sorry?
With a big loud mouth. McGregor, he's a little man with a big loud mouth. He's no sporting icon.
Sorry, Andy, for many people, he is.
Right, okay. Now, assuming he was English, do you think he'd be getting that kind of support? They'd be calling him a scumbag for what he does, for lack and all, yeah?
Okay, but he's not English, he's Irish.
Chris Eubank was a famous boxer, an English boxer, and he was despised in Ireland, you know what I mean? He was despised, people hate him.
Because of his swagger.
And I'll tell you one thing, he 10 times the respect for people than that McGregor fella. That McGregor fella is no good. He's useless, and kids are looking at him.
Sorry, Andy. Hang on for 1 second. Hang on, Andy. No. Hang on. He's hardly no good.
Get his head out of his arse, having a shut.
Sorry, he's hardly no good. Sorry, you're going to let me talk. He's hardly no good. He's got numerous titles. He's earned an absolute fortune. He's one of the best in his field in the sport that he fights in. You can't say he's no good.
He put it to a professional boxer, Floyd Mayweather, and Mayweather made him look like a fool.
That's fine, right. But that wasn't the sport in which he was.
There's another thing about him as well, Adrian. If somebody got onto your program and he were using bad language, you'd cut them off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Would you cut him off if he got on and start using the F word?
I would ask him not to. Yeah, I would eventually.
Would you cut him off? Would you?
No, I absolutely would.
Did you hear him there about 3 or 4 weeks ago on the Late Late Show? And he used the F word about 10 or 11, maybe 12 times, and he got away with it.
Okay, but he got away with it because
if it had been anybody else, he would.
Okay, I'll tell you why he got away with it. He would have gotten away with it because it's nighttime television. It's after the watershed. I wouldn't let him away with it at this time of the day because it's not past the watershed. That's the big difference.
Would you let him away with it at nighttime if it was past the watershed?
Yes, and sure, I used to work nighttime radio. I did it for years. I let everyone away with it. It's a completely different ballgame than daytime radio. So.
No, I seen you cutting off. I heard you cutting off people.
On our daytime show, I have.
No, on the nighttime show on a different radio station. Yeah,
it's rare enough.
Many times I've seen you doing it. Many times. You know, and other people will tell you the same thing. But because he's Conor McGregor, we let him away with it. Sure, he's brilliant. That fella. He's no good.
Okay, stay there for a second.
He's no role model for any children.
Okay, stay there for a second.
Because head out of his arse, that fella.
And you think he is a great role model?
I think he's 100%. He's great. He's one of these people that's come from nowhere. He's worked his arse off. And he's after taking on the world. I think he's a fabulous role model for young kids.
And there you go, Andy. A fabulous role model for young kids.
Now. He's gone off the rails a little bit now, but who wouldn't? The chap's come from nowhere. And
well, Andy,
that was on before.
Well, I can tell you now, if the kids are looking at that, what he done yesterday in the court, so are they going to follow suit? Okay, it will be the next Conor McGregor.
I tell you,
I show no respect for nobody.
Now. He's gone off the rails.
He should have been locked up and anyway, that fella. He should have been put away.
Sorry, I can't hear both of you. Sorry, and say that again, please.
He's gone off the rails a little bit now. But anybody, who wouldn't? The chap is after taking on the world. He's come from nowhere. Of course it's gone to his
Okay, but is there not an extra bit of responsibility on somebody like him who is in the public eye to at least try and behave in a way in which...
He'll come back all right. He will. He's just gone off the rails a little bit now, like any other young fella, 29 years of age. He's got everything. Everything is at his feet. He's just after losing the plot a little bit. He will come back. He'll come back 100%. He's a great young fella. He does great charity work. He goes down. He's down in the hospitals, seeing the sick children and everything. Do you know what you are? You're a begrudger. You're an outlet.
What do you say to that, Andy? That people like you who don't like McGregor are begrudgers?
Absolutely, 100%.
Hang on, let him answer.
If he had a little bit of respect for people, I'd have a bit of respect for him. But he's no respect.
Every bit of respect. The young fella is very respectful.
A little man.
He's been on doing interviews. He's very
He's not
respectful.
a sportsman at all.
He gets photographs taken with the kids. He takes time out. He stops. He speaks to the kids. He's very respectful. He's lost the plot a little bit now, but he'll come back good. He's a good young fella. He's took on the world and fair bloody play to him. That's what I say.
He's going to get his head out of his
Good
ass.
on you, Conor.
He's going to get his head out of his ass.
You're a begrudger.
Get out of his tree. Get out of his little tree house. Get his head out of his
You're a
ass.
begrudger. Yeah.
All right, stay there for a second. 6797981 is our telephone number. If you don't like McGregor, you're a begrudger, is what I'm being told. Let me just squeeze in another couple of calls very quickly. Katrina, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
First of all, I don't like McGregor as a person. I respect him as a businessman and a fighter, and I have to hold my hats off to everything he's done. But he's not.
So what are you saying? You're not a begrudger?
And I mean, fair play to him. That man came from absolutely nothing, from being on the dole up to a multi-millionaire, and I have to take my hats off for him for that. Like, fantastic. He's sold himself brilliantly, and he's good at the sport. But his behaviour is off the wall. I mean, first of all, he's not a young fella. He's a man.
Yes, and in fact,
you know what I mean.
And to describe a 29-year-old as a young fella, I'm sure there's
he's
loads of 29-year-olds who'd love to be called a young fella.
If my 29-year-old son behaved like that, I'd be disgusted. You know, he is. This is part of being famous. You have to, conduct yourself in a respectful manner. And there is young kids watching this. And this whole swagger thing, I get it, and I get that's the way he is. But I mean,
people are forgetting the kind of class of people that Conor comes from.
Oh, come here. I'm from that kind of class, and I wouldn't behave like that any more than my brothers would. No, hang on a minute. If I dumped my car outside the courtroom, I'd be done. No, I'd be done. No, it's not the way it is. It's put on. It's fake. No, it's not.
Anne, let me read. Okay, relax there, ladies. Anne, let me read a message that's just come in, and it says, he knows that millions of kids idolise him. He should have a bit of cop on to show kids out of the ring that he's different to what he is in the ring.
In the ring, exactly. Exactly.
He gets pictures taken with kids.
Yeah, we all do.
Very respectful towards kids. That girl Amy was right. These people are forgetting where Conor comes from.
I come from an estate like him.
He disguise what he is. He doesn't try and disguise what he is. He is what he is. He is what he is, and fair play to him, I say. Fair play to him, I say. Come here, he can do what he wants. Fair play to him.
Can he? So he can do what he wants.
No. Hang on for 1 second, Anne.
Anne,
hang on for 1 second. You can't say that he can do what he likes. What makes him any different than you and I that makes him think he can do whatever he wants, or makes you think he can do whatever he wants?
What I'm saying is, he doesn't put anything on. He is what he is, and he's not ashamed of what he is, and that's the way he comes across.
Okay, but what I'm hearing from countless people is that is nothing to look up to or nothing to idolise.
Well, that's up to them. There's plenty of other people looking up to him. He's had to take it on the road. The world, this guy, don't forget. He's come from nothing. He's come from being on the dole 4 years ago, and he's took over everything.
Oh, yeah, and hands off for that.
Come here. Look at you can't see where the chap is coming from.
Okay, Katrina, let me read a message, and it says, typical Irish mentality, begrudging a self-made man adored all over the world, America, Canada, the UK, Brazil. He's lived and slept his sport for the last 10 years, lived the life of a monk, and now because he's made it, he can't even blow off a bit of steam. The Irish nation are famous for loving losers and hating winners. Give him some respect, says Andy and
Oh, he has that respect. As a fighter, I've had the utmost respect for him. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a human. He's still a man. He has to behave like any person. I mean, imagine me pulling up outside a courtroom and dumping my car there, just abandoning it and thinking you can get away with it. And I'm sorry, just because he's famous doesn't give him any special privileges. It just means he's wealthy and he can get away with it. That's the only difference. And I have to say, like, I have utmost respect for him because he has made it. I mean, fair fuck to
Fair play to him,
like,
yeah. All right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hang on, let me read out just one or two more messages. The video footage of him speeding away from the court yesterday should be given over to the police, and he should be done for dangerous driving, and that can carry a ban or a more severe or more penalty points, and hit him with a big fine and give the money to the homeless. He is a good guy in the ring, but show a bit of respect for the law, says Noel in Ashburn. And one last one. Marie, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Marie.
How are you, Adrian?
Good, thanks, Marie. What did you want to say?
I did like McGregor. No, I did. And saying fair play to him for winning what you've won and everything else. But yesterday he made a holy show of himself. Like, he walked into that court with his head up high, and then he walks out and covers himself up. What was the sense in it? And he's riding, what a motor. Do you know? And then speeds off, like, he was real like, I'm an untouchable.
That's the impression that you got?
Yeah, real, I'm the untouchable now, like, you know, and as it is true, you put a beggar on a horseback, he'll ride himself to hell.
Right, like, so whatever respect you may have had for him, you're losing.
I went down the drain.
I mean, Anne, I understand you defending him, and I understand your opinion, and I understand everybody's opinion, but, you know, a lot of people, especially over this last 2 weeks, have just said, here, Conor, enough already, seriously.
Yeah, but you see, that's the Irish mentality, you know, he's not jumping to their tune, so that's it, they turn against him. You have to remember, you have it on the radio all the time. People from working class areas, this, that and the other. Now we have a young chap who's risen up from a working class area. He's come good. He's taken over. He's done what he's done. He's a millionaire now.
Yeah, and I think that's like a man about it.
Give him the respect that he deserves. Come on.
Sorry, the argument that I'm hearing is, yes, give him the respect. Give him the respect that he deserves. If he would only do the same back, and he didn't do that yesterday, going in and out of court.
Come here, look, he's lost the plot a bit, wouldn't you?
He has.
He's going to come back good. He's lost the plot a bit.
All right, look, I'm way out of time, ladies. Thanks very much indeed. I respect the man for what he has done, says this message, but he has nothing to idolise. He thinks he can do what he wants, when he wants. His attitude stinks like sour milk. And McGregor was a man until money changed him. He was a great... he showed us how to visualise everything and how it can now be achieved, but more people turn away from him than follow him now because of his carry-on. People have no idea what's going on in his life, says this message. Sorry, some of that I can't read. Okay, sorry about that. And nobody is turning against Katie Taylor. She is a real ambassador for sport, says that message. All right, thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. Live from Dublin City Centre, this is Adrian Kennedy, and this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
98 FM. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. on 98 FM.